Hi everyone, my name is Ruxandra, and I am so excited to be talking to Tumulario today, a band who's going to be answering some questions to us all the way from Colombia. So why don't we start by introducing yourself?
All right, yeah. Well, first of all, let me say thank you for allowing this space for us to share a little bit of our metal. My name is Hane Robles. I go by the pseudonym Morgul. I'm the drummer and vocalist of Tumulario. As you said, we are a band that was created in 2014 here in Bogota, Colombia, South America, proudly from this, let's say, very difficult lands. But yeah, like we've been working since then thoroughly, strictly, doing something that we call raw metal. And well, I guess that answers the introduction for sure.
Actually, my first question was about to touch base on that. You're describing your style as raw metal, metal crudo. So could you elaborate a bit on that?
Sure, yeah, it's been such a great conceptual work. I think it started back when we realized that our compositions were not suitable to be labeled just as one subgenre. So we said like, okay, yeah, what we're composing, it has a little bit of black metal, a little bit of thrash metal, some parts that might bring maybe some doom sounds, some death sounds. So we say, fuck off, right? I mean, the way that it started at the beginning, it was just metal. Like they didn't have these labels like to how to call the music, to how
Yeah.
to define it, and in the same way, a way to limit it. So we said like, no, we just want to have metal in our name, and that's it. And then we decided like, okay, yeah, but maybe I mean, we need like a word to define a little bit the sound, and we realized that the word raw or crudo, as you say in our language, was excellent, was suitable because it has a lot inside. I mean, we have resignified it, and what it means for us is basically an organic sound, no limitation on its concept. Maybe we will define it also a little bit of primitive, and I think that maybe what defines it the most is that it's not something we want to have like into the technical part of music, nothing like that. We just want to have our feeling, our emotions
Emotions.
on it. And yeah, that I think that when we came out with that concept of raw, we said, yeah, this is perfect. And it's been more than a name since then. I mean, every year it takes more meaning on its back, and we are glad that we did that decision because that has allowed us to share with different scenes and different some genres and have some kind of respect like in here in the underground scene of Colombia.
You know what's interesting? That even though you have influences from so many subgenres like doom, death, black, you name it, you still maintain a very cohesive sound. How do you manage to keep it all together? To still have a band identity, even though you have so many various influences.
Well, I think there's so many things that take part in that. One of them, I guess, is to being able to kind of build a music that has a stable lineup. So with this lineup that we're working right now, we've been together maybe for wow, 8 years almost. So we know each other a lot. A part of that, I think it is very important to build from foundations. So what we normally do is that when we compose, it's quite a process because it starts in a very individual, let's say, individual process. Sorry for the repetition on that, but yeah, it's like a very individual process that we develop each one in the musical part and the lyrical part as much as we can as the unique composer. Like, let's say I create a song, I try to develop it as much as I can. And then this is the important part. It's like when we feel that is ready on our part as a creator, then we take the time to share with each other and to socialize like in a very deep way what the music is about, what the lyrics are about, what's the full background and the ideology on it. And what that makes is that it creates a sense of belonging. I would say,
Yeah.
a very deep sense of belonging. And once that's done, it's very easy just to play the music and not just play it, but also like feel it, make a full interpretation of what is behind that. And I think when that all that is put together, what we get is that cohesive sound that you're mentioning. So then it's all about the concept behind. Uh, but we are also very careful, especially when we try to work on our discs or our production, to be able to communicate exactly what we want in terms of sound. Like because nowadays there's it's very common to see a lot of standardization processes inside the music and the recording and well, especially mixing and mastering, and we have tried to fight very hard against that. So by using several, let's say, resources, like for example not using a metronome. I'm against that. Because
Really?
yeah, because I think I mean it's something that maybe subtract a lot of the interpretation that you have on music, especially as a drummer. I know it because, well, I can play.
You are the metronome in your band.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And when you have this click behind your ears all the time, like you're more thinking about that and not just about feeling. So it's natural that maybe you accelerate a little bit when you're excited, and that's what makes it alive. So that's one of the resources. The other one is to try not to compress everything as much and have it, let's say, like as natural as it gets. Obviously, yeah, I'm not saying like okay, everything is like a live session or something like that, because no, I think that you gotta place some work on the production. But yeah, when you're careful with those details, you get that cohesive sound, and it persists through the years.
All right. Now, your latest release in 2025 was Vestigios, which
Mhm.
followed Vociferaciones.
Yeah.
So, what messages are you exploring in these releases?
Okay. Yeah, it's there's a lot of concept on them. I might start with a little bit with Vestigios, because
Mhm.
that would suit like a maybe like we work at like a base for us to understand where we're going. Vestigios, sorry, Vociferaciones, was a red album. That's what we call a red album, because it's full of emotion. The principal idea of this album was to use every single song to express one emotion from inside to outside. It was everything about screaming out what we felt. So you will see that it's an album which, in terms of production, I mean, yeah, from the equalization itself is very raw, not just the concept, but the sound itself. It's like you feel it like comes from caves.
Mhm.
um, and a part of that, it's full of anger, it's full of wrath from maybe it has a lot of resentment, disgust, a lot of those emotions that things around us cause in ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we decided to do that, and then the idea where we're going is that we want to do a blue album. So with that, I mean something that is more introspective. um Vestigios was not supposed to be that blue album, to be honest. I mean, the idea of it was to have like a connection, or like a bridge between Vociferaciones and the next album, which is supposed to be the blue one. So it
Okay.
was supposed to be an EP, an extended
Mhm.
play, Vestigios. However, when we got to contact Satanath Records in Georgia, um, first we realized that normally our albums are very long, and in the same way, this EP was very long for an EP, because it's 31 minutes, and for commercial, also like purposes in terms of the label. Um, Alexei, the owner of the label of Saturn Records, he told us like, okay, no, we better release it as a full length, because anyways, it's long enough to be considered that, At the beginning we were like reluctant, and then we say, okay, yeah, we agree. So then that's why this is an album, not an EP anymore. But for us, conceptually speaking, we consider it like a connection album. And basically, it's Vestigios. What it does is that it takes some compositions that had been pending for many years. Some of them are very old, like 2016. There's other ones from 2017. So they had some years on their own. And what we did is that we recovered them, and we say like, yeah, we want to put them all together, not with, let's say, with the purpose to create a big concept on it. No, just more like a compilation of those songs that were left behind somehow, but that we love, because we do. Every song is like a son.
Baby.
Every song is like a son or like a daughter for us
Yeah.
as creators. So yeah, we record them, we put them together, and the resulting um, product, or the resulting music, was amazing. We are very glad with this Vestigios. We consider it's an album that has a lot of two different things. Which one is the first one would be, I see, or I perceive a lot of first wave of black metal on it, and I also perceive a lot of doom intentions on some passages. So that's kind of new. I mean, at least it's more notorious than in previous productions. And the result in terms of the sound itself was amazing. I mean, we consider it's a remarkable thing, and now we have accepted it's an album. So yeah, we're just waiting to see how this one spreads, and then continue with the original plan, which is our blue album, which is gonna come after. But that one is gonna be a lot of introspection. It will be very different.
Very curious. Now, let's talk a bit about the symbolism of your band's name. To what extent does Tolkien's philosophy um, affect you?
It has definitely um, influenced a lot, not just in a very direct way, as you could see, maybe in some songs. Of course, there is, because we have some songs. For example, there's one called "The Horde," which is about a group of orcs, and obviously there's more symbolism. It's not just the story, but yeah, that's one. There's another one called "El Mal Reptante," which is about the story of Glaurung, the great dragon of the Silmarillion. Um, there will be more. I mean, they're just two examples. Those are very direct in terms of the lyrics influence, because it's for different reasons. One of them is that in a personal way, I consider this guy a master. I mean, he was really a professor. We casually have the same profession. Obviously, there's big differences, because he was like a real philologist. I am an English philologist in Latin America, which is obviously a different um, focus. Um, but it works, There's a lot of influence on that part. But a part of that, not just from the explicit lyrics, but also from some concepts that he has, or that he developed, sorry, when he was alive, from a more academical point of view. For example, there's something that he calls the sub creation, and this is what I consider we have done with the band, which is sub creating something, maybe, yeah, give some kind of resignification to a lot of concepts that have different conceptions. Sorry about it then. But like, for example, la crudeza, lo crudo, yeah. People always think about that like it's just lofi, you know. That's it. Like it's a sound that is not so. I mean,
Polished.
yeah, exactly, not so polished. But I think that, as I said before, like it goes beyond. It goes beyond that. And when you resignify those things, um, it gets bigger. It gets richer,
Yeah.
and that's something that he taught us. Also, there's some concepts. It's kind of ironic, because in some ways he was a very religious man, but I think he was very right in some of the things, like the conception of fantasy, the conception of the cycle of the world, this concept that he has about the secret fire, as he called it. I think it's amazing, and it works for even from the black magic point of view.
Yeah,
For
yeah, the black flame.
exactly the black flame burning inside. So I think